Hey guys, it's Cupcake and I'm coming to you with an update. I am about 20 months post-op vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery. I had surgery January 26, 2017 in Salt Lake City. My highest recorded weight was 296. When I decided to have surgery, I was in the 260s after being put on metformin. I had insulin resistance and I was pre-diabetic. So the insulin resistance was causing my body to hold on to extra fat and also to gain weight. And so I got down to the 260s. And then I did a 3-month supervised diet and a 10-day 1,000-calorie diet prior to surgery for my insurance and per my surgeon's requirements. And so I was 234 at the time of surgery. And yesterday when I weighed myself, I was 158.6. So that is up a little bit, and that's to be expected because I've been eating a lot of shit. So it is what it is. My husband and I just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and that was on Wednesday, and then we mostly celebrated last weekend. We didn't do anything like crazy, you know. We usually just do like dinner, a nice dinner and a movie, and just spend time together, and so that was really nice. We went and saw The Nun, which was all right. If you like scary movies, it was all right. And we got some takeout from Texas Roadhouse, and that's how we celebrated. So but yeah, I've been eating a whole lot of dessert over the last 2 weekends. So last weekend I decided my husband's favorite dessert is strawberry shortcake, and I decided that I would make that for our anniversary, and so I did, and it actually turned out surprisingly good. I'm really not much of a cook, but it actually turned out pretty good. It wasn't perfect, and my husband did help me a little bit. When I say it wasn't perfect, like I forgot to put in the baking powder until the end, like after I had already mixed the dough, and so I added that in, and luckily my biscuits still rose, and then my biscuits were uneven, and they were very thick, so they were a little raw still in the middle, so I cut them open and cooked them a little bit longer. And I think they were still a little bit doughy, but they were actually really good, crumbly, and it was yummy. And then I made the whipped cream from scratch, which is really super easy, by the way. Basically, you just put whipping cream into a mixer and until it like forms stiff peaks. Well, I didn't mix it enough, and then I added a little bit of sugar and some vanilla, and then my husband, he mixed it for longer, and then it turned into like real whipped cream, and so that was good. And then I macerated the strawberries, which basically you just kind of massage some sugar into them and let them get all juicy. My husband kind of took it a step further the next day. We did eat it like that, and it was really good, but he like cooked down the strawberries so that they had kind of a syrup to them, and like added some honey, and that was really, really good. So I ate a lot of strawberry shortcake over the weekend, and then also I think Monday morning I had some more. So like, my husband isn't a huge sweets person, but I am. I definitely have an issue when it comes to sweets. But yeah, so I was happy that turned out, and I decided that from like going forward that I would kind of try a new recipe for special occasions, because I am trying to get better at baking, and because I like to bake or cook, for my husband, especially if it turns out good and whatnot. I've definitely turned into more of a homemaker, even though I still work full-time. And that has really that's really happened since having weight loss surgery. I have more energy and desire to do more things. Sorry, I keep biting my cheek, and it's driving me crazy. So Anyway, so we did that, and yeah, I decided to get, I've really been wanting key lime pie. Like, I try and get key lime pie on, you know, special occasions because it's my favorite, and obviously it's not that great for me. So I went to Whole Foods, and they didn't have any slices of key lime pie, and I knew if I got a whole pie that I would be in trouble. So, because it almost always gives me dumping syndrome to eat key lime pie. So they had this little like manufactured one, and it had like a brown rice crust. The crust wasn't gross, but it just wasn't really good. But the key lime portion of it was really good. It was just like a little pie, like that big. And so, and like 600 calories, by the way. So anyway, I ate most of it. I would say that I ate like 5/6 of it or whatever, and I put the rest in the fridge because I was starting to get like a little bit of the dumping syndrome symptoms. You know, for me, that's like my heart beats a little faster, and if it gets really bad, then I start to get nauseous. I haven't thrown up. There have definitely been a few times where I, you know, was on the verge of throwing up. But I haven't. I've been able to hold it back. And for me, that's preferable because I would rather not throw up if I don't have to. So anyway, but yeah, so I stopped myself, put the rest in the fridge. The next morning, which was yesterday morning, I finished it. And then I had cheesecake last night because I got, my husband and I both 2 desserts, and I got him like a chocolate mousse. And then I got him a chocolate cake that had chocolate mousse and also frosting. And I was like, you can just give me the frosting because he just likes the cake part. So I also had the frosting off of his cake, and he could only eat like half of it. And he's just like, I can't eat any more of this. It's too sweet. So I ate the rest of that for breakfast this morning. So yes, I've been eating a lot of treats. And so I know why my weight is up. I haven't really been good about exercising, but I did make a point, especially with changing my schedule at work, so that I could pick my husband up again since it's starting to get cold. I don't have as much time to work out right now, and I'm hoping that things will change. We'll see. If they change, I'll let you know. But I'm hoping some things at work will change. But I'm only getting in 1 walk a day now because I start work at 7 instead of 7:30, and I drop my husband off before that. So before I used to walk when I got to work because I had a half an hour, and now I don't. So I'm just walking during my lunch break, you know, for like 15 minutes. It's like half a mile or something like that. So and then even though I've had time to work out, I just really haven't felt up to it. So but I did make a point to exercise yesterday for a half an hour and this morning for a half an hour. And I am pretty sore from doing that. I've just been doing the Pop Sugar fitness videos. If you watched my videos, you've heard me say that a lot. And obviously I just colored my hair. Yesterday I put some like purple over it. I still need to get some black to do my roots because like, yeah, that purple isn't gonna last. It looks okay in this light, but yeah, I still need to get some black. So anyway, my hair is getting longer finally. If you've followed me for a bit, you know that I chopped my hair off probably about a year ago, and into a pixie cut. I never had really short hair like that, but my hair was thinning and falling out, you know, after surgery, and so I did that, and I'm still growing it out, and it's taking a long time, and it's looking a little bit like a mullet because it's longer in the back. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but yeah. So, but I'm finally getting to the point where, you know, I can wear it down occasionally. Most of the time I have it up in a ponytail or pigtails. But I have started to feel comfortable to wear it down, even though it is a little mullety. Like, this morning it's been washed and blow dried and straightened. So, but yeah, anyway, yeah, I haven't had a lot to update you guys on, you know, except for my husband and I had our 10-year anniversary, which like it's a big deal, but at the same time, you know, what is 10 years when you intend to spend the rest of your life with somebody? You know, my husband commented that it doesn't feel like 10 years for multiple reasons. One, because it's been good and happy, and it continues to get better and happier. And so it doesn't feel like, you know, like, oh man, I've been doing this for 10 years. Where like, say my job, I've been there for 7 years, and I definitely feel that I've been there for 7 years. So in that way, because it's been like the best time of my life, and it's been happy, and like I've just changed so much in a better way, and as has my husband, and as has our relationship, it doesn't feel like 10 years. But at the same time, he said it also doesn't feel like 10 years because we haven't gotten to spend as much time together as we would have liked. Even though I feel like we probably spend more time together than most couples, we always want more time. The majority of our time goes to work, and we want more time for us and for family when we finally get back to Arizona next year. We want more of that, because that's what life is about. Yes, you have to be able to support yourself and your family, but ultimately, you know, I think we're here to grow and enjoy our lives and whatnot, you know, and get the best out of life, and the best out of life is definitely being with people you love. So yeah. Anyway, for me, you know, I feel those sentiments as well, but I also feel like it does feel like 10 years because it feels like I've been with him forever. But in a good way, because my life, I feel like it didn't really begin until him, you know? Like, he's changed my life. In just numerous ways. So, of all the things that I'm grateful for in life, he's definitely the one that he's definitely the person and the thing, and he's just everything, you know, and he's given me everything, you know, with our family, with our son, who it's very difficult to be away from. So yeah, I feel like life didn't really begin until he came into my life, you know, almost 11 years ago. So anyway, I didn't plan on crying. But anyway, so 10 years is significant, but at the same time, and I'm sorry if I already said this because I've started to film this video twice. I didn't cry the last time that I started to film it, but anyway, 10 years isn't a big deal when you intend to spend the rest of your life with somebody. So, he's definitely what helps me to keep going every day. I tell him all the time, and he's the sweetness of my life. He makes every day just sweet and worthwhile. So anyway, yeah, so that's been going on, and yeah, like my weight is up a little bit, but I'm okay with that. As I've said in a lot of my videos, as long as you're, mindful of things, like you're mindful that yes, I'm gonna be eating a little bit more this week or this weekend or whatever because of this thing, whether that be it's a special occasion or you're not feeling well or you're on your period or whatever it is, you can accept that, yeah, I'm going to be eating a little less on track right now, but I'm going to get on track at this point and do better and, work a little harder with exercise and eat, a little better. And in my experience, and obviously everybody's body is different. Some people, their bodies are going to be super sensitive to changes like that, but I eat pretty consistently this way where, I eat pretty good, and sometimes not good, and sometimes really not good, but I would say the majority of the time I eat pretty good, and I do try and exercise some, and that's how I've been able to, not regain a bunch of weight after having weight loss surgery. And some people do, I see lots of videos where people are up like 20 pounds or whatever a year later, 2 years later, and that's definitely not the position that I want to be in. This week I've seen as high as 159, and I also was 157 point something at some point this week. So, your weight is going to fluctuate, and I still feel like there's room to live your life. But yeah, you do have to get back on track. You have to continue to weigh yourself, at least once a week, I would say, so that you don't get out of control. And you do need to be mindful of what you're doing, not just like mindlessly, eating and not giving a shit. I feel like you can definitely eat what you want to and enjoy yourself with food and whatnot and still give a shit and still have a plan. And I feel like if you do those things, then, you'll probably be pretty successful. I just, like, for me, it's not good for me to be super restrictive. It's not good for me, like, mentally especially. But yeah, I can't live my life that way. So, and I know a lot of people are in that same boat. You want to be like the most successful and whatnot that you can be, and it feels good to continue to lose weight and post all your pictures on social media and get all the accolades and affirmation and whatnot, but it's just not what's really important. I was listening to Joe Rogan Experience. I really like Joe Rogan. I don't always 100% agree with everything that he says, but I do like that he has a pretty centered viewpoint on most things. He doesn't tend to lean very far left or very far right on anything. And like I've said in previous videos, that's kind of where my husband and I find ourselves, is in the center a lot of the time, which is weird and not a great place to be, living in a place of extremes, where in Salt Lake we have, extremely religious people, and then people that are like the opposite of that, to an extreme. And so yeah, I can't wait to get out of this state. We're planning to move in a year, so that time cannot come soon enough. And there are reasons why we're still here. It's definitely not something that we have a whole lot of control over right now, and so it is what it is. We're making the best of our situation, and I just can't wait to be, you know, in Arizona where we belong and with our family. So yeah, that's where we're at. But anyway, what I was saying is I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, and Elon Musk was on there, the guy who runs Tesla, and something that he said, and I'm sure this is something you've probably heard too, but he spoke about social media and how a lot of the time the people that seem to have the perfect lives and seem to be the happiest are a lot of the time the most sad. You know, it's like they have to try harder to put on a show to make it seem like they're doing really well, and you know that they have a life, you know, to be envied, or you know their progress, you know, if like in the weight loss surgery community, that they don't struggle, you know. And then a lot of the time those same people you see these posts are like, oh, you know, I struggle too, but I don't know, a lot of it just seems really inauthentic. And I think we all have times, you know what I mean, where we, you know, where we're not really in tune with ourselves, and maybe not the most genuine, and we want to put on a show, we want to come off a certain way. It's so heavy, you know what I mean, in our society, to focus on appearances. And so I appreciate when people say to me, you know, that they appreciate that I'm being real. You know, it's something that I also struggle with. Like, because I want to be real, but yeah, I have a lot of mental health issues, you know, that I deal with. I mean, even right now, I've been feeling a bit depressed. Even though, like, there's been some really good things that have happened, and some really positive things, and some really happy things, and overall I'm very happy in my relationship, which is like the you know, the most important thing, you know, in my life, because everything you know, just stems from that. Like, you know, I mean, my family, it's an extension, you know, my family that I, like my husband and I, our family that we have made, is an extension of our relationship. And, you know, how work is going, like, even though it can affect our relationship, like our relationship affects that, like, it literally affects everything in my life. And so I'm grateful that, you know, that I have that. That is the most stable thing I have in my life. And you know, still, I mean, relationships are not perfect, and people are not perfect. And you know, I think the important thing to remember is that you have to keep working at things. You know, you can't just like put your relationship on autopilot and expect it to, you know, to be wonderful all the time. And I see, you know, I've seen multiple videos, people saying, oh, weight loss surgery ruined my relationship or ruined my marriage. No, you are responsible for your relationship, not weight loss surgery. There are lots of people who have continued to have successful relationships after weight loss surgery. You know, I mean, does it affect things? Yeah, it can. I mean, for me, I feel like it's mostly been a positive change. Whereas, like, I was a very lazy person before, and a lot of it is that I just didn't feel well. I didn't have the energy, you know. I wasn't working on myself. I just wasn't like a whole person. a lot of the time, the majority of the time before weight loss surgery. I wasn't really living my life. Things have definitely gotten better. You know, I have the energy and the desire to do more things, and that has definitely enriched my life and has definitely helped my relationship. But yeah, I mean, I'm not naive to the fact that when you make a big change like that, it can have an effect, but it's really up to you whether you let that be a negative effect. You know, you can take the opportunity and, you know, and better your relationships, or you can let them fall to the wayside. And I'm not saying that all relationships are meant to work out, but if you want something, then you will work at it. And of course, yes, the other person has to work at it too, because a relationship cannot be one-sided and last. So when I see videos like that, I really don't like that, because ultimately weight loss surgery didn't ruin anybody's relationship. If you changed when you had weight loss surgery, it's because you changed, you know, not because weight loss surgery changed you. Weight loss surgery is just a thing, you know. That's like saying any, you know, inanimate object changed you, because we're not like, you know, physically the only thing that changed is the size of your stomach. You know, everything else was a choice. Eating differently is a choice. Exercising is a choice. Having a healthier lifestyle is a choice. Becoming overly preoccupied with looks is a choice. And I get it. Like, it's really fucking weird to go, you know, maybe your whole life or for a very long time, you know what I mean, and not be noticed by people, or are even disregarded by people, or treated badly by people because of how you look. We have a very superficial society, and it affects you. It does affect you mentally, you know what I mean? For that to change, people treat you differently once you lose weight, you know, once you become quote unquote more attractive or whatever. People treat you differently, and it's just a matter of whether you let that change you or not, whether you, like, your priorities change. For me, I don't see the point of being with somebody that wouldn't want to be with me if I was heavy, because obviously they don't really care about who I am as a person. I mean, yes, obviously, like, I do more now, but who I am as a person at my core, you know, who has improved, and not just because of weight loss surgery, just, you know, putting in the work and counseling and wanting to change and wanting to do better. It is what has made things better. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm just trying to say is that try not to get too focused or obsessive about appearances just because your appearance changes, because ultimately looks are not everything, and they fade. And would you rather be with somebody that loves you for you? You know, like, I always think of extreme examples, but I mean, it's, to me, it's still relevant. You know, if you were in a terrible accident and like you ended up disfigured, you know, or you couldn't walk anymore, or whatever it may be. If something like that, you know, something tragic were to happen, wouldn't you rather be with somebody that loves you for who you are? Because if they just loved you for your looks, then, you know, if they just wanted to be with you for your looks, then they're not going to stick around. So, I mean, it's the same concept of, like, if you are with somebody for their money, if they're suddenly poor, are you going to still want to be with them if you are only with them for their money? To me, those are the same things as being with somebody just because of their looks, you know, and only considering them because of the way that they look. Being with somebody that's good looking isn't what's going to bring you happiness. And it's not going to last, because looks don't last. You don't see a lot of, like, you know, amazing looking older people, because everybody ages and they get wrinkles, and, you know what I mean, they are able to do less and less for themselves. And what's going to be important is finding somebody that really loves you for who you are. So, you know, you can easily become preoccupied with appearances, especially when your appearance changes so much, and usually for the better. You know, when you're not carrying around a bunch of extra weight that your body frame and your face were not supposed, you know, like, they're not really equipped to hold, and they're not supposed to be carrying that extra. It's just really important to focus on those internal things. I think that's a reminder for all of us, because, like I said, it does affect you mentally, you know what I mean, when people treat you differently. And we do get super focused. A lot of us, probably most of us, or all of us at some point or another, become super focused on how we look, and, you know, what size we're wearing, and what the scale says, and all of those things, you know, that we sometimes forget that ultimately is not what is most important. So I get it, you know, and you still need to be attracted to the people that you're with, like your, you know, your partner or partners. You still need to be attracted to them. That is important, but attraction is so subjective, especially, you know, if that person has an amazing personality, they're going to be more attractive than somebody that's very physically attractive, that has a very unattractive personality, or even just an okay personality. You know, you really want to find that person that you are attracted to through and through, you know, on so many more levels than just physical. So anyway, that's kind of like what my thought process has been lately, and it's just a good reminder to me. Another thing that I've been thinking a lot about, because I have been struggling with depression and anxiety, you know, work has been very, I've had some instances at work that have been very stressful. Lately I've just been doing mostly data entry stuff, but yeah, I have had some experiences that were not good at work, and it has affected me, because yeah, I do spend the majority of my time at work, and it is hard to just leave that at work a lot of the time. But when I'm struggling like that, it definitely affects me, like anxiety and depression wise. And you know, it's always hard to think about being away from my family. You know, my husband and I are a little family that's in Arizona right now. Half of our family is there, and it's always really difficult, and just our circumstances are very difficult. I don't think that it's necessary or that it needs to be talked about, but our circumstances are different than most, and life is hard. So, you know, it is easy to fall into being anxious or depressed at times. You can be anxious and depressed and still have really good and happy things in your life and still appreciate those things. But yeah, as far as anxiety and depression goes, the one thing that I can say is that you can't give into it, and it's something that I have to remind myself all the time, because when I'm feeling that way, it would be easy. It's easy to just stop trying, you know, stop caring about what I'm eating completely, stop exercising, sleeping a lot, which I kind of am doing right now, just because my schedule's been changing, and also probably because I'm feeling anxious and depressed. But yeah, sleeping a lot, just basically giving up on life and just going through the motions. You have to pull yourself out of it. You know, it's not good to just give into it. You have to actively do things to pull yourself out of that state of mind. You know, do something that makes you feel better. And I'm not talking like eat a fucking whole pint of ice cream. I'm not judging you if you do that. I've definitely done that, you know. But I'm saying, like, do things that are healthy for you, that make you feel better. I have been listening to an audiobook, American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube, and you'll just have to find it on YouTube. I'm not gonna, because I don't want it to get taken down. But yeah, it's really good. And there's a series on Stars. It debuted like a year or two ago, and it was really good. And so my husband, he found the book, and so he listened to it and he recommended it. And so I almost finished with it, and that's been really, really good thing for me. So just doing things to pull yourself out of it, doing things even when you don't feel like them, because, you know, they say that action precedes motivation, and I definitely think that's true, because you're not always gonna feel like doing things, but you have to fucking do them, and then you'll feel more motivated once you actually start doing those things. So sorry, I'm just getting notifications. But anyway, you have to actively pull yourself out of it, and when you start to feel it coming on, or even when you recognize that, oh, this is where I'm at, you have to actively do things. You know, whatever it is, do something, you know, to combat that. And that is how you can deal with anxiety and depression. You know, counseling is also wonderful, and it's helped me a lot. Talking to people about things, writing, you know, do something, because otherwise it doesn't just generally go away on its own. You know what I mean? You have to fucking do something about it to not let it overcome you. So that's an important reminder for me, because that's where I've been at. But anyway, this has been a really long video, so it's kind of funny because I wasn't really in the mood to film a video, but I appreciate you guys watching and supporting me, and I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope that some of the things that I have to say are helpful. But yeah, anyway, I will talk to you guys later.